Well, President Trump on his latest efforts to end the war in Ukraine. This comes as Ukraine has stepped up its campaign of drone attacks inside Russia. Let's get reaction tonight from Ukrainian Ambassador to the U.S., Olga Stefanishyna. Madam Ambassador, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Brett, for having us here.
You know, it's been described that this was a positive meeting and conversation between President Trump and President Zelenskyy. Can you put further details to that about how things are shaping up?
Well, indeed, it's absolutely important that basically the Iran deal was signed on the sidelines of the G7 meeting and a part of the very important moment of signature of this arrangement. It has a backup of the G7 allies and all the other partners who are present, including the Gulf countries. But also, it has a direct impact to the conversation with my president because there are like more time to focus on that. And while the operation in Iran has been happening, Ukraine has increasingly strengthened its own defense capacity, and we have changed the reality on battlefield. The new momentum is there, and they were discussing it and basically thinking of what could be the way to strengthen our defense capacity, and this discussion will continue soon.
I want to talk about that momentum in just a second, but Politico writes this about the G7, saying the contours of a deal in which Trump backs Europe on Ukraine in exchange for European help securing the Strait of Hormuz, the major waterway whose closure during the war with Iran sent energy prices skyrocketing, appear to be taking shape. Is that how you see it? Is that exchange happening?
All the issues were interconnected. For Ukraine, we are capable of getting to any arrangement which will help us to survive. Strait of Hormuz has a very direct commercial value, and the implications of its blockade has a world global effect, just the same as Russians were blocking the Black Sea and the grain release from Ukraine. It's in a common interest, but of course, it's important that all the leaders, including President Trump, agreed on a statement of the G7, which provides for this necessity to strengthen air defense, but also provide for a more capability of European allies to produce on its territory.
You know, Ambassador, as we look at the map, the real territory has not changed that much. But as you mentioned, there is momentum, and Ukraine has ventured deeper into Russia using drones. And now Ukraine is considered a world leader in drone technology and defense. Is Ukraine sharing that technology with the U.S.?
We have been working intensively with the Department of War, with the Army, with the Navy, and with the Air Force. We are working on the solutions, and including legal, to provide more expertise and more knowledge. But also, we are working in terms of feedback in terms of how the American equipment is working in Ukraine, and it allows to improve the defense capabilities of the United States.
The last time I talked one-on-one with President Zelenskyy about 6 months ago, I asked him about that U.S. connection. Take a listen. Do you think you could win or end this war on your terms if the U.S. withdraws support? If they get frustrated in this process and you can't get it across the finish line, can you end this?
If we are speaking, can we win without American support? No. Because we can't. First, we will think about, all the soldiers will think only about their families. And without American support, we can't defend the sky. Even now, it's very difficult.
Ambassador, it seems like there is more U.S. support now. It has been rocky over the years, obviously, back and forth, talking about that connection. Can you paint a picture of how this war comes to an end?
First, it's very clear that Russia has already lost this war, although there is still a front line. Basically, it's not possible to win this war on a battlefield. You know, the technologies and the capabilities of Ukrainians are developing faster than anything in the world. And basically, we're capable to build our defense capacity to defend the European allies. Let's not forget that although this is the Russian aggression against Ukraine, basically Ukraine holds the front line of Europe and of transatlantic security. And it's only held by Ukrainian armed forces. So, of course, we coordinate with our allies. We understand what we need. We strengthen our capabilities because it is our land, it's our people, and we defend them. And these people are unconquerable because we're defending our homes. And that's why there's no other solution by the diplomatic one.
Last thing, quickly, do you think President Trump is considering new sanctions on Russia? He said just the other day. Do you think that the existing sanctions, U.S. sanctions on Russia, are working?
Absolutely. You know, I can tell you that they're working because this was one of the first things Russians put on the negotiating table like many, many months ago. The first thing they said, we need the frozen assets back and we need the sanctions lifted. They could be even more devastating, and we are looking forward for the future developments in the Senate of the United States, which can enforce more sanctions, but also European Union and the G7 countries has not been lagging behind. And since the last 6 months, 2 new packages of sanctions were put in, and they will be only increasing as long as the war is lasting.
Okay. Madam Ambassador, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.